outside of the many lies, I left this reunion part 2 wondering why even bring up colorism if you're not really gonna talk about it. Is y'all ready to talk about it? Cue the music! Oh yes, bitches and hoes, I'm back.
I drop a player like it's nothing, it ain't working out. Now no debate or for discussion, bitch, I'm walking out. My time is money, I ain't loving, let you toast it out. Flip my weave and walk it out, look how I just bossed it out. Now come on baby, why you bugging, we can't talk it out. I keeps it moving, I ain't tripping, lost another spouse. I'm just a boss, it's in my blood, no I won't scream or shout. Grabbing my keys.
Cause oh yes, bitches and hoes, I'm back. Back with another video. We're here to discuss Real Housewives of Potomac season 7 reunion part 2. I'm about to say episode, but reunion part 2. Excuse my hat sitting so low. I ain't got no makeup on, y'all. It's been a rough day. I've been shopping all day. But look, let me just say this. It's one thing that the girls lie on each other. It's one thing that, you know, all these girls got these beefs with each other and they making up lies and all this garbage, which I don't really give a damn about. But when it came to the topic of colorism, I really feel like it was done a very big disjustice or injustice or whatever the opposite of justice is. I didn't appreciate that, but we'll get into it. So let's get into the episode, girl. The episode opens up, we picking up where we left off with Candace telling that lady, Gizzard, she's got a dwindling uterus. Girl. Wendy starts off by saying this is a clear pattern. Every time it's time to film, that's when you bring the tea. You don't ever bring the tea about people or the alleged tea about these folks until it's time to film. Gizzard completely denies it. Candace said yes it is, and you had a whole season to tell us about your dwindling uterus, but instead you over here talking about my man and spreading lies. Now that's true. I can't lie. When you're right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? I just wish that, you know, Candace understood the power of the tongue. And we're going to get into that a little bit more later because people have to understand the power. The tongue is mightier than the sword. Didn't y'all the pen? Didn't they say the pen is mightier than the sword? Either way, the tongue is mightier than the sword. A lot of things have happened. A lot of people have lost their lives behind things that are said. So when you make up lies or when you say things out of your mouth like dwindling uterus, although you're trying to procreate, you got to understand that you're speaking of really bad juju, not only on the person, but it could come back to you. I don't want that, but it definitely could. I just wish she had, it's so much to dig at Gizzard at. You didn't even have to use that. But I'm sticking by that. I don't care. And I don't even like Gizzard. I flame her up every time I get a chance. But I felt like, just like with the Monique situation, Candace, you go too low. And we going to get into why going too low sometimes get your ass whipped. But anyway, so she said you could have been talking about your dwindling uterus. Candace goes on to say, well, we still waiting for you to tell us what he did. And Gizzard's whole thing is, girl, I just told you he made me uncomfortable. And it was like, well, did he do something to make you uncomfortable? She was just like, no, it's just the fact that I was in the room with him. I was uncomfortable. Now, what's that little girl named? Mia tries to jump in and was just like, can we just acknowledge that, you know, your husband, why can't you just say that your husband made her, what's the word she used? She used another word, not uncomfortable. But basically something as an action. And Gizzard cleared it up and said it was not that he did anything. It's just I was uncomfortable at the situation. But Candace, this is where you're going to take the L. Because, see, what Gizzard is doing is she's now playing you. Because while you are right in saying that Gizzard probably is using this as a bullshit tactic, because she probably is, you are now looking like the villain to a victim. That's what it looks like. I get it. We don't like Giselle, and Giselle gonna have the same contradiction that a lot of us have in this audience right now. I get it. We don't like Giselle, but we have to be careful with what's okay for this one and not okay for that one. What's good for the goose gonna always have to be good for the gander. You cannot drag Gizzard for when she decides to say what's going on. If he made her feel uncomfortable, that's her feeling. So if that's how she felt, it is what the hell it is. Like, I don't understand what we talking about at this point. You can't combat that. That's just my opinion. But Gizzard say it's all semantics, but he didn't have to do anything. The whole thing was just uncomfortable. But her whole thing is, Gizzard is, she said Candace made it bigger than what it was with her theatrics and her BS and dragging it, her and, what's his face, dragging it all over Twitter, her and Chris. Dragging it over Twitter. But Candace is holding stead to, no, you just did it in front of the camera, so I had to basically confront it in front of the cameras. Mia tries to jump in after Giza just threw your ass up under the bus and said you was down there embezzling money. Your dumb ass, your slow ass, jumps into Giza's defense and say, oh, and try to help up for Giza, and Candace told you to shut the hell up. You know, Mia ain't the only dumb one. Candace is dumb. Wendy is dumb. Mia is dumb, and Robert is dumb. I think those are the four most dumbest. As much as I hate Giza, I don't think she's dumb. Those are the four dummies. Because all of y'all are so weird. It's almost like y'all forget that these people are literally behind your back with a stake trying to jug it in your back when you want to be friends with them. Because Mia, why is you jumping in to help up for Giza? Giza just put the feds on you, girl. Are you stupid, or are you dumb, or are you dumb and stupid? Girl, I just don't understand. But Mia wants Candace to acknowledge that Chris made the girl feel uncomfortable. Andy goes on, we gets off of that and goes on to the clip of Deborah. You know, the Fraggle Rock around there saying that Chris was flirting with her. And they played the doggone flashback. Girl, that boy wasn't flirting with you. And we saw this. And I don't want to say it's because you look like a damn fool and you do look like a Fraggle Rock, because you do. I think it's bigger than that, because listen, a lot of you hoes out here, let me give y'all the tea. Y'all sitting around here saying, oh, cause she look like this and she look like that. I have 3 words for you. Ocho Cinco wanted me. I had to count them on my hand. Listen, Leonard, and listen, Lewis, and listen, Larry's. Leonard, Lewis, Larry, Lakeisha, and Lisa, and Linda. Y'all listen out here. Y'all cannot for 1 second. See, when men go get cooch, they don't care about the face. They don't care about a lot of things because they just being stupid. You know what I mean? So I know I made fun of Fraggle Rock. I did. You know what I mean? And I'm still going to do that, as I should. But I don't think that it's fair that we could just discount it because of the way she looks. I'm not saying that Chris flirted because we saw that he didn't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving y'all a little tea of my own. Stop acting like because a bitch look a certain way, your man ain't gonna go. Because that's the same thing Evelyn Lozada said. And then OG said, Ocho Cinco wanted me. I'm your favorite athlete's favorite athlete. Cleared, as she should. But where was I? Anyway, so they go back to that clip. And Andy was like, well, girl, Ashley, the way you said it happened, it didn't happen. And we see the clip. What's tea? Ashley was like, well, you know, I normally trust Deborah. Deborah normally tells me the truth. And when I saw the clip, I was a little disappointed. It didn't really align the way that I thought it was going to align. But I'm still sticking by the fact that Deborah typically tells the truth. Girl, just say your friend lied and you lied with her and y'all made this up. Let's move on. So he brings up Happy Eddie. You know, Deborah was saying Eddie is happy. This prompts Gizzard, not Gizzard, leave Gizzard out of this for this part. But this prompts Wendy to say, you know, it's so crazy because y'all not even used to men being nice to y'all. A nigga smiling at y'all got y'all all up in arms. It's to the point where the men don't even want to come around y'all. Because they scared y'all going to say they did this, and this. Listen, men on this show, do not go around none of them heifers without your wife present. They're going to put you under the bus. They're going to roll you under the bus. Don't do it. That was the one thing I will agree with Wendy on. Happy Eddie, call him Happy Eddie. The man look like he do smile all the time. So it is what it is. Deborah, I need you to smile. I need you to take some of the Botox, or if that is Botox, between your 2 eyes that's got it all puffed up, looking like a doggone, a brain in between your eyes, and smile, bitch. In my little Duval voice. Because maybe that's what it is. You're not used to, people smiling at you. But anyway, they play the doggone, they play the tape of Candace going around there saying none of these hoes is loyal. They just around there peddling their business. Candy ass, are you not peddling Deep Space? Have we not been re-released of Deep Space? Stop the cap. No pun intended. Stop the cap. All you heifers is peddling businesses. And talking about all of them is fake. But she came out of the doggone thing that said she wasn't talking about Karen or Robin. Well, what about your good friend Wendy and her on candles? Make it make sense. I don't like that for you. And you know, Wendy, because see, you're a little slow too. So I know you're very educated and very book smart. But see, you're a little slow when it comes to common sense. Candace not your friend. You and Candace have formed an alliance because both of y'all dark skinned. Candace ain't your friend. I get it. You tried to help up for Candace when Monique drug her ass up and through there. You know what I'm saying? And you was nonviolent and all of that on your Martin Luther King. And Candace appreciated that. But Candace is not your friend because whenever it came down for Candace to have the opportunity to talk about who her friend is, it was always Robert, never Wendy. Debate your moms. I'm sorry. I know y'all like Candace. I'm just starting to come around to Candace. But at the end of the day, it looks like Candace is showing more loyalty to Robert than she is to Wendy. And Wendy, you was doing the same thing when Robert said that y'all could be friends. And oh my God! Both of you heifers is slow. I'll tell you this, and we're going to get to this when it comes to this doggone conversation about colorism. I feel like we had the two people we had up there to talk about colorism should not have been the two dark-skinned females to represent us. But let's move on. So, as they plan to take, Robert was like, girl, what's the problem? Why you have an issue with me playing your words to our friends? Candace feels like, well, girl, you could have came to me if you was my friend. You could have been like, girl, I know you're not talking about me. You could have came to me personally. But Robert is holding fast to, girl, well, you were talking about all us. You didn't specify. You said what you said on the doggone thing. And he even brought up the fact that she said some good things about people's businesses. Who cares? What we saw was, you were saying them hoes is opportunists, and they don't give a damn about nothing to nobody. That's what we heard. That's what we got. So if I was Robert, I would have played that shit too. I ain't gonna lie. For the first time, I'm siding with Robert on that. You just can't get mad when people play your words back for you. Own it, fat. I know you was owning it, but then you wasn't owning it. You said what you were saying, but you were trying to deflect and act like it wasn't that big. It was that big. You said what you said. They asked Robert where she get the doggone lie from. Robert said it was sent to her by a blog. I believe it, because you know us blogs, we be up on everything. And I ain't gonna say us. I'm saying us because I do be doing this stuff. But girl, I have real life to deal with in between all of this. I'm sorry. But what else did I leave out? Robert saying, I'm sorry, y'all. You know, that's nothing but the Lord. That's nothing but the Lord, because he knew some bullshit was coming out of my mouth. Robert said she feels some type of way. Well, Candace feels some type of way about them discussing what happens in their lives on camera. That's what the whole show is about. Well, I'll be a pickle on the porch on a Friday morning eating pickled pig feet and pickled doggone pig tips. What? We still don't know who Wine was creeping with. The lady said Wine have a problem with beating the holes, running through the holes, allegedly. The lady said Wine is a flipper. He likes to flip the holes. Yet and still, you want to talk about what needs to be done and said on camera? Robert, again, I want to lift the back of your bob up and on the black hand side, slap you in the back of your neck. Until we find out what's going on about Wine, don't you bring up nothing on camera. Don't you bring it up. But Candace, you got to live with that too. It is what it is. You said what you said. You would have did better and came out better by saying, yeah, I said it. What's up? I didn't mean it to you, and you. What's up? Because you did say you ain't mean it to Candace not Candace, to the Grind Dime and to Robert. What about your friend? What about your friends? Like I said a few seconds ago, they not friends, girl. But anyway, they bring up Candace saying that Robert is her good friend because she's the most loyal. And Wendy brings up this another reason she's not your friend, Wendy. Wendy brings up the fact that, you know, it's funny you say she's the most loyal, but when she pulled out that JBL and put all your T's out there, I whispered to you, and this is what you call loyalty? Both of y'all heifers is thirsty, if you ask me. Wendy, she's not your friend, fat. That girl don't give a damn about you. She don't give a damn about you. I'm sorry. And you don't even have to say what's understood, girl. She don't give a damn about you. It's all a grab. All these hoes is trying to hang on by a straw. Girl, that girl don't give a damn about you, Wendy. And you know that. You got too many degrees to not know that. But then again, common sense ain't the same as book smarts. I'm sorry. And I got, again, 2 degrees. So, say what you want. Anyway, they basically cut for lunch. Wendy goes in the back and tells Chris they was up there fighting for her. She tell her husband, Gizzard done brought him up 3-4 times, and they done brought him up. They just can't get their mind right. Wendy, fight for yourself. Don't fight for Chris. He's a white man. He will win. He will prevail. Fight for yourself, fat. So we come back from lunch, it's Giz's package, and they talk about her upgrade on her house. They asked Karen how she felt about the house. Karen said the chandelier was nice. They bring up the live show that Karen stole, her hysterectomy, her telling the kids that she's got to have the surgery, and Giz's alleged dating that man Steve that we all know she wasn't really dating. They come out of the package, and Andy asked her if that would be her forever home. She said, well, I know I'm going to stay here till the girls get up out of there. Listen, I will say this, Giz, although I can't stand you or your home, mobile home that is, if you brought in a nice area, and you did all that to it, girl, you can make a pretty coin off of that if you dip. You know what I'm saying? After them churn get grown, you can make a pretty coin. So you might not be as slow as Candy Eyes think you are, because you're making a good real estate investment if you ask me. But they talk about the live show. Robert said they had never seen a live show before. Somebody said that ain't smart. And Robert said, but we were successful. Pause, Robert. You had 12 people in the audience. Remember, we were there. We saw it. You were not successful. But they asked them how many episodes of their podcast they have, and they said they have 80. And it gets to Karen and asks Karen, was she copying off of doggone Robert in Gizzlet? And Karen says no. A lot of us do a lot of things at the same time. They even asked her if she was copying off Wendy with the on candles. Karen told Wendy, look, girl, I told you when you came to me, it was fine. I just didn't want to burst your bubble, but I had already announced my candles was coming out 4 years before you got here, fat. Not to mention my candles are selling. What are yours doing? And then she goes on to talk about the live show and says she was inspired by Carol Burnett. But in the doggone confessional, you said your good friend Wendy Williams. Girl, Karen, just say you saw an opportunity and leaped on it, girl, and you just did it better. Y'all got to start being honest with each other. I'm sorry, and with yourselves. So they asked her about her LaDimes, and Gizzard asked her, if you say LaDime stand up, will the LaDime stand up? And she said they damn sure will on social media. Then they asked her if Robert had the Roberts, would they stand up, and what would they be called? Boring is what they would be called. They ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. But fans' question come in to Gizzard and thank her for sharing her hysterectomy, the only one thing she's ever shared about her life, and ask her how she's doing if she's had the surgery. Well, she lets us know that she had the surgery. A lot of women reached out to her and actually said that she helped them a lot with her storyline. Well, Gizzard, this is something I'm with Candace outside of the dwindling uterus part. I'm not gonna say that, but I am with her with. You could have shared so much of your life on this thing and did so well, but you didn't. You decided to negate from the fact that your best friend getting cheated on and dogged out and stick to the mess. Girl, you could have had a whole storyline this season. You really could. The one other than putting people lying on people's husbands and all of that. So anyway, she brings up the fact that her sister came down there. Her sister was there for the surgery. She had already told her girl she wasn't spending the night. It was an outpatient surgery, but the surgery lasted longer than they thought. They didn't get in touch with the sister. The whole family was worried, and she said her girls don't even want to talk about it. I know when she first started trying to talk about it, she said, let's talk about it later. And shout out to Andy for saying, no, we're going to talk about it now, bitch. We finally got something to talk about for your ass. We're going to talk about it now. I'm here for it, Andy. I'm here for it. But anyway, they asked her if she's still messing with Steve. And she said, yeah, I deal with it from time to time whenever he come into town. Andy was like, well, do you ask him to come into town? She's like, no, whenever he come, he pull up. And she was like, well, what about the boy Luke from the Winter Summer House or whatever the hell the house is? And she said, I do ask him, as you should, because I don't think nobody's asking you. Anyway, Andy said, well, Gizzard said we might see him next season if they still dating. Robert asked what the age difference was. She didn't want to get all into it. Girl, you're like 30 years older than that boy. We don't care as long as the badge work. Moving on, we moving to Wendy's package. All right, now, Wendy's still not drinking no water. They got into the restaurant stuff. Peter and his beef with Mia with Wendy, and Mia and her getting into it. That was all in her package. Now, Andy asked her how her health faring out, and she said it's doing all right. She's increased her water intake as she should. Andy was like, girl, let me tell you what Andy was trying to ask you without being disrespectful. I'm going to ask you the way I would have asked you. You got 4 degrees, which means you are a very intelligent woman. Yet, when it came down to what you was going to do for your business, you decided to open one of the toughest industries in business and think you was just going to ride off the coattail and go collect your coin. Are you dumb? That's what Andy wanted to ask you. He was like, did you really think this through? And did anybody try to talk you out of it? She said she got advice from Candace. I don't know why Candace ain't never ran no restaurant, but her husband did. But she got advice from Candace and Ashley, and they both talked her out of it. At least Ashley ran the doggone restaurant. Girl. Again, common sense is not so common. Andy asked Mia what her relationship was with Peter and if they slept with his old lady. And she said, me and Peter's cool with G. And back in the day before Peter even knew his old lady, we smashed. It is what it is. We smashed. And that was before that was his old lady. So we done got that cleared up. We already knew that. Now Andy asked her why she threw the drink at Wendy. He was like, because Wendy didn't really say nothing that bad. Now, if I recall, I don't know if Wendy said you and your husband sleep with men and women before or after the drink, but if it was before, the drink was warranted. Anything other than that, it probably wasn't warranted. But they come out of that package, and Mia said the way I recall is she kept antagonizing me, and I didn't appreciate that. Wendy comes out and say, girl, look, I know that I'm sitting here all cute, proper, and prim, but do not be mistaken. I didn't appreciate what the fuck you did, and I should get up and slap your ass and beat the piss out of you, but I can't because Johns Hopkins gonna fire me. So what I will do is say it's fucked up, and you bet not ever put your hands on me or assault me like that again. I had Cosmopolitan all in my eyes. Do you know how bad my eyes was burning? That's what Wendy was saying to Mia. Mia said, girl, let's get on what we really here to talk about, girl. The fact of the matter is you was antagonizing me. They asked Robert, why she was saying the girl was antagonizing her. Robert said, girl, look, because and this is where I want to get to. Robert said, she told Wendy, when you keep doing this and you don't want to fight, it causes a scene. It causes an issue, right? So if you don't want to do this, don't do this. Anybody who's from any hood knows that that's not a lie. Anybody. That's why Candace got her ass drugged. That's why, listen, everybody is not like everybody else. Everybody's not going to be able to take you just. Some people can't take that. Some people aren't wordsmiths. Some people aren't able to just take your shit and spit back or take your shit and walk away. Some people can't take that. Verbal abuse is real. I'm not saying that's what this is. But verbal abuse is real. So some people, when you do this, they gonna do that. As they should. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying in some instances it's worth it. Y'all hoes know if somebody got up here and said F your mama and your daddy and your children, y'all gonna be ready to do this. So stop acting crazy. Anyway, Robert was telling Wendy, look girl, first of all, you wasn't my friend. Let's start there. But at the end of the day, what I was saying was, if you don't want to fight, stop talking. You antagonizing her by keep talking. She already done threw the drink on you. She gonna come back and pop the piss out you. That's what Robert was trying to say. But they basically telling Robert that, she's being doggone, she's bullshitting basically. Because at the end of the day, what would you have done if it was you? Well, I don't know how I would have reacted. Like Andy said, we seen you with the umbrella. Oh, I wish, when they played that flashback, I wish I could have jumped in the flashback and pushed Monique to just start wailing on Robert. Because that's who deserved that ass whipping. Candace was just a casualty of war. That's who deserved that ass whipping that season. Robert. Oh, I wish bring Monique back so she can kick Robert's ass. I'm tired of her jeffing up the people anyway. Get Monique back on the ones and twos so she can drag and beat the piss out of Robert. I would love that. I'm sorry. But they asked Gizzard. They said, well, Gizzard, I feel like you being two-faced because on one hand, you sitting up here saying violence is wrong, but then on the other hand, you ain't doing nothing when it comes to this and that and the third. Like Gizzard said, I don't like her. And she said that, I'm sorry, not even in regards to that, in regards to them talking about you want to be heard, you want people to listen to you and take you seriously on your feelings, but when it come to this girl getting a drink thrown in her face, you talking about, oh, it's different. But at least Gizzard was honest. She said, I don't like her. And look at Wendy. I don't like her neither. Girl, stop now. You're going to be kissing the ass next season. But, yeah, bring up the fact that Robert lied about Sharice not having to hold her back. She said, well, I didn't say that in particular. I just said I didn't need her to hold me back. No, bitch. You said the girl ain't had to hold you back because you wasn't doing nothing volatile like that. And the whole time you was aggressive and volatile. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. Like Andy said, if you stood up like you've been standing up in these episodes, right now I would step in the middle because the shit is aggressive. It is. Anyway, Candy gets on Ashley and says she flip-flopped over her stance on violence when it came to Mia, because when Mia threw the drink on Wendy, you understood. But when Candy Eyes got her ass whooped, no, when Mia threw the drink on Wendy, you said it was wrong. But when Candy Eyes got drugged up and down the street, you said it was okay. Not really it was okay, but you kind of stood by Monique. Ashley's whole thing is, listen, I'm the only one who stood up for Wendy. Let's just keep it a book. I stood up for Wendy, and that's just what it is. He calls out Giza, like we said, for her contradiction, but like Giza said, I don't like her, so it is what it is. We already talked about Wendy saying that, you know, she'll beat the piss out of Mia, but she can't because she got a job and she can't lose her job. She said she don't mess with, in her words, I don't fuck with you because you violated me. That's what Wendy told Robert, but I don't think Robert gives a damn. I mean, not Robert, Mia, but Mia don't give a damn because she gonna forget all this stuff happened tomorrow. Giza said, but wait a minute. This is a good point, Giza. Giza said, but wasn't y'all just showing each other y'all vaginas and stuff? Like, how did y'all go from that to now y'all beefing again? And look at Wendy, oh, it was the tequila. We all showed each other vaginas. Girl, the cap. Ain't no way I'm going to be showing my vagina to a bitch who I want to beat up. I'm sorry. Period. I'm just sorry. But anyway, Jacqueline arrives and she's here to clear her name. Come on now, Jackie, bring your ass out of here. Let me just say this, Jackie look good. Moving on, they bring up the doggone topic of colorism. Listen, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of this doggone episode. This was the most dumbest. I feel like we got a better conversation of colorism when OG did it on Basketball Wives. While we on the subject, you know why I love OG more than I love Wendy? Because OG don't speak as if she's somebody she's not. What does that mean? OG not up there acting like she's an African-American woman, yet screaming Nigeria. OG is Nigeria through and through. OG was speaking from a skin tone complexion, straight up, and was just basically just like, y'all, if y'all down bad, what y'all do is down bad in how y'all treat us. I'm not saying that Wendy and Candace are not coming from that same position, but however, they did not articulate the argument as well as it should have been articulated. And, Candace reads the doggone definition of the word colorism. Everybody agreed to the definition. I like that Ashley acknowledged that she does have a light-skin privilege, because she does. I'm a dark-skinned black girl. I grew up with a sister who was light as light with freckles. She had a light-skin privilege in everything, in school, in sports. My best friend is light-skinned. She got picked to be on the dance team and I didn't. And she ain't even had no rhythm. No shade. But she ain't had no rhythm. I could actually dance. And my friend got picked to be on the dance team and not me. Simply because they wanted all light-skinned girls. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to Ashley for acknowledging that she does have a light-skin privilege. But they have the conversation, and for some odd reason, Giza just don't get it. Let me tell you why Giza don't get it. Giza don't get it because Giza, if she has the Creole mindset, and I ain't shading the Creoles, but we got to be honest and have the conversation here. If y'all from the Louisiana area, Mississippi, or if you're not from, I'm about to give you the tea. So this is what it is, where I'm from, with the Creoles. And let's just define what a Creole is. A Creole is someone who's of French or Spanish, or French and Spanish, and African American descent, or AKA nigga. You know what I'm saying? So that means your grandmother maybe have been French, or your grandfather may have been Spanish, and then they created a child with a black person, and then they come out fair, and then that fair person has to sleep with another fair person, and all their children come out fair, and so on and so forth. They not only come out fair skinned, they have straighter hair textures. I would never say good hair, because I don't believe that they have so-called good hair. I believe black hair is the best hair. Nigger hair is, to be exact, because it's the strongest. That's just my opinion. But in that community, from my experience, remember, I'm a dark-skinned girl, but my grandma is Creole. My dad's mother is Creole. Her mother was French. Her dad was Native American. Boom. They have this complex when it comes to women who look like me. You know, the so-called nappy head, dark-skinned girl, that they're better. Now, I know Giza wasn't raised in Louisiana, but if she was raised by folks who was raised in Louisiana, I'm not saying that that's what they passed down to her, but what I am saying is it wouldn't be surprised if that's her mindset, because that was the mindset of those before. Say what I think. So for you to not understand this topic of colorism with 3 brown daughters. I'm talking about daughters with my color. With 3 daughters, my color. And you can't get what these girls are saying. You don't want to get it, Gizzard. And you know, this is going to come back to haunt you because I'm pretty sure your girls have or will go through some form of colorism. And they're going to come to you and talk about it. And it ain't going to really hit home until it really hit home. You get it? I wouldn't even try to explain this shit to Gizzard if you ask me. I wouldn't. Mia and the other girls were sitting up there. They kind of said they got it, but they didn't really get it. Girl, that conversation did us nothing. They spent 2 minutes on it. That's another thing. Y'all spent 2 minutes on the conversation. Andy said, I'm going to step back because I'm a white man and just listen. Y'all, I wanted y'all to get a moderator. And actually, if y'all wanted one of y'all said, no, we should have had a moderator. Somebody that asked the right questions. Because Candace, they trying to basically say it ain't got nothing to do with color because you just a crybaby. Well, you is a crybaby. You is. You is. But at the end of the day, a pattern is a pattern. Gizzard, you had a problem with Monique because Monique had more money than you, had more houses than you, and she was still beautiful and successful and was pushing. You have a problem with Candy Eyes, even though you act like you want to be her friend. You have a problem with Wendy because Wendy's more educated than you. See, that's that mindset that a lot of, some of, I ain't going to say all of them, because Gizzard is a Creole from Louisiana. A lot of them have that complex. Us dark girls can't be better than them in nothing. And even if they want to say it's conscious or subconscious, it eats at their ass. And I love it. But yeah, that's typically the response you get. I know I experienced it with my own grandmother, my father's mother. I experienced, so I know exactly what I am talking about. I can't speak on Robert. They say she almost white. I don't know what the hell going on. But what I will say is when it comes to Gizzard, and a lot of women who think like Gizzard, y'all could have just skipped the conversation. Y'all could have just played an excerpt from Basketball Wives when OG got them hoes together. That's what y'all could have did, because this was not given. But Wendy and Candace, of course, is happy to acknowledge it. Talking about that's the first step. Girl, I don't give a damn about you acknowledging the goddamn thing. I need change. Nothing gonna change this with your behavior. Anyway, Andy goes on to say that Michelle Obama is watching this now and she would be proud. Michelle, turn the channel. Let's move on. Now, Jacqueline joins the cast. Andy asked her if she knew that, you know, coming on the show, it would be like this. And had she talked to Mia since rapping? And she said no, she hadn't talked to her. She didn't think it would be like this. You know, they grew up together, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. She didn't think it would be like this. So they play their package. Of them growing up together, and Mia saying they did weird promiscuous things together, showering, sharing men, and G buying her a Porsche and all that stuff. Gizzard comes out of the package and was like, girl, who bought that car? Who bought the car? Who cares? Anyway, Mia says that Mia was basically mad that her babysitter was looking for Jacqueline. Well, like Jacqueline said, that my sister was my sitter. I introduced my sister to you. So if she was calling you to look for me, it makes sense because that's my sister. But on the flip side though, Jacqueline, are you paying your bill or is you letting Mia, you know, pay her bill and then you just piggybacking your kids off of Mia? That's what I wanted to know. But it still wasn't enough to be all that. Maybe it was just a straw to break the camel's back when it comes to Mia and her relationship. But Mia, I really feel like you reached on that one with Dinosaur Arms. But they asked her about sleeping with married men and fighting and all of that, and how she felt watching basically her dragging her best friend. And she said she felt both of us could have done better. He didn't ask you about both of y'all. He asked you about you. You see what I'm saying? That's what I be talking about, Mia. You just like Wendy. You can't take accountability for shit. You got to pull somebody else in your shit. Like Karen said to Gizzard. I mean, to Robert. Don't pull me in that. Don't pull me in that. So, Andy asked Mia if she felt like she was an outcast from Jackie's family and if she still talked to him. Basically, Mia said, you know, I talked to him, but not as much as I should. But I need to do better. Basically, I need to do better with that because we work closer and I wish that we were closer than what we are. So Jackie basically says, look, girl, you are unhinged. You sent the group chat to everybody telling them that my house is in foreclosure. And she was like, girl, you want to bring out receipts? This is Mia. And Jackie was like, girl, I got my receipts. And then opening up a Pandora's box comes with Mia with her bedazzle box. Listen, the moral to the story is if y'all not going to really address colorism, don't talk about it. Please and thank you. We got nothing from that conversation but a definition. I just talked about all this stuff, and what stuck out to me the most was We brought up colorism, but we didn't really even talk about it. I don't give a damn about Mia and Jacqueline fighting. I don't give a damn about Candace and Chris and Gizzard. I don't give a damn about none of that. A lot of the root to all of this colorism shit, or all of this shit that y'all going through, is colorism. It just is. I'm not saying it is for every single thing. I believe that Ashley was the wrong, not Ashley, Candace was the wrong representative, because you do talk your shit, and then when you get your ass whipped, you do start crying, period. When people call you out on it, you start crying. That ain't got nothing to do with colorism. You just cry, baby. You know how to talk, but you don't know how to walk. You get it? But there is a spectrum of colorism in there. I'm not gonna act like there isn't. Wendy was so educated, but I was waiting for her to jump in more, and she just didn't. I feel like y'all dropped the ball when it comes to the colorism topic. Anyway, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all thought. This shit lasted longer again as I wanted it to last. Girl, I'm about to go make me a little country burrow, as y'all call them down here in Georgia. We call them a shrimp burrow or a crawfish burrow or a crab burrow. Mine gonna have shrimp in it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on TikTok, please, and I will see you hoes later. Bye.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo dog time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.